Good morning, everyone. We are at the, just about at the midpoint of the semester. We're in the 7th week out of 14, and as far as I know, I have to report midterm grades by Wednesday. So those should be coming out to you sometime after that, I would assume. I hope you're staying as healthy as you can be. When I got to work today, I found out that Dr. Kolbeck is not here because he's experiencing some symptoms, I guess. So if you have any lessons with him today, I don't think they'll be, I think he's got them canceled for today. I don't know when your normal lessons are. That's connected to one student. Yeah, and I don't know how long he'll be out for, if he's going to be back tomorrow, or if he'll, I have no idea. So, all right. So first of all, I've got you back the graded material that I had from you, so I should be caught up on that. Second of all, I believe you had the answers to your rhythmic dictation assignments on page, what was it, 25 and 26, I think? Yeah. So again, if you can't access the answers or check your work, please let me know and I can certainly show you because I have the answers in my instructor's manual. But it is good, especially when you have the opportunity to check your answers. I would do the work first, obviously, and then check your work to see how accurately you're getting the examples done. Okay. Now I have in my notes for today that I wanted to ask you all if any of you are having problems accessing the sound files for your assignments. And the reason I'm asking that is because I guess it was late last week I got a very long email from Mrs. Dvorak saying that her class is having serious problems accessing their sound files. And I had no idea. But she said that it's gotten to be so bad that she's having to do some of their homework in class, that kind of thing. And so I immediately, when I wrote back to her, I immediately said, well, I'm going to ask my students because they're using the same thing. It's all the same class, Aural Skills 1. Is anyone here having trouble accessing the sound files for your homework? No? Is everything working okay? And if you can't get to MindTap, then you've got an alternative, maybe a downloadable version that you can use. No issues. Because I'm going to be meeting with Mrs. Dvorak tomorrow to talk about this, and I told her in my email, I said, I'm going to ask you guys, and I'm going to just double check because I want to see if you're experiencing the same issues. If you are, well then there's definitely a problem that needs to be addressed. But if there isn't, or if you're not experiencing any issues accessing your sound files, then I don't know, then it's a different story, and I can talk with her accordingly. But so you're all good, right? You have no complaints? Okay. All right. I promised her I'd ask you guys. I just wanted to double check. I don't know exactly why the other class is having issues or what's going on there, but I'm sure I'll find out soon when I talk with her. Okay, so with that done, or that passed, let's go ahead and open up your sightseeing books as we normally do. Could you open up to page 20? And we'll warm up our voices as we usually do by singing one of the assigned melodies for today. And then after that, I have the handy-dandy bag of names, and I'll be drawing 2 names today unless I have some volunteers. But I'll let you know what I want to quiz on before then. So today is the last, not that it makes a big difference, but today is the last day we're meeting in this class in September. Okay, the next time we'll be meeting it will be October. Not that that's a big deal, but as I just mentioned before, we are about halfway through the semester. So just bear that in mind, keep that in mind. Okay, on page 20. I think last time we sang this together, but I want to do it again just because I think it's difficult at least to find the first pitch. And I want to look at melody 236 one more time. And first of all, can anyone here tell me the key of 236? Don't all word it out at once. C major, yeah, very good, thank you. So no flats, no sharps. And I think we've talked about this. What syllable or scale degree does the melody start on? Which one?
La.
La, that's right. It starts on La, okay? So let's get C major going. And I suppose just to do the right thing, I'm going to switch my mask here since I've got my other one. This one, every time I wash it, I think it's shrinking though. It seems to be pinching every time I... Okay, let's go ahead and sing our major scale as we usually do, and then we'll arpeggiate a tonic time. Here we go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, mi, sol, do, sol, mi, do. If you all don't know what a tonic triad is yet, don't worry. We're getting to triads on Wednesday in theory. Okay, so it'll start making sense if it doesn't at this point. Okay, so we said it starts on La. Can everyone sing the high Do for me? Ready? Do. Now think down 2 steps in your mind. Can you all sing the La for me now? La. All right, that's where we're going to start. And this is hand signs. Everyone tapping as well. We're tapping the 8th note. And we start on beat 4. I'll give you 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. La, sol, fa, mi, fa, sol. Fa, mi, re, mi, fa. Mi, re, do, re. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi. Fa, sol, la, sol, fa. Sol, la, ti, do. Okay. Yeah, it never doesn't have to go fast, regardless of whether or not there's a tempo marking that says, you know, prestissimo or something like that. It doesn't have to go fast. I think the more you practice and the more you concentrate, the easier it can get and the more controlled it can get and the less frantic it needs to be. Okay. All right, with that said, now, the 2 melodies I'd like to hear today are 235 and 237. 235 and 237. Now let's see, according to my list. I know Libby has sung already and so has Becca. So if your name is not Libby or Becca, does anyone want to volunteer for one of those 2 before we draw 2 names? Okay, let's see who we get for 235. Probably the person won't be here, but we'll see. Tyler.
Okay.
235. And for 237, I've got Kelsey. All right. So, back to 235. Tyler, can you tell me the key of your melody?
It is in G.
That's right. It is in G. I can't remember the last time, maybe we did something in G. Is this okay for you to reach? Okay, so let's start your scale there first.
Okay.
would you like, I mean, it's up to you.
I tried it.
Okay.
Nope, we're good.
Well, let's see. Does it go any lower than do?
No.
I don't think so. So can you find from your low do, can you find your first pitch? Yeah, there you go. And yours is conducting. So whenever you're ready, give it your best shot. Hey, good job. You really looked like you knew that one. So good. There weren't any, glitches or blips or stops or pauses or anything like that. Good. All right, I like it. Thank you. Moving right along, we'll go to 237. Now, Kelsey, what key is your melody? D major. That's right. And before I go over there, what syllable does it start on? That's right. But let's do D major first. Can you sing that high for the top of your scale? Very nice. Now can you find the T a step below your... There you go. That's your first pitch. Yeah, you're doing fine. Good job. Good job. I like it. I like it a lot. You're doing just fine. So, yeah, both of these sounded really good. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. And as we go through each of these class periods, we take 2 down, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think, 6 left that I'll need to sing before the next test. But we have time, so just, again, keep that in mind. All right, the next thing I'd like to do then, than we usually do, let's take a look at a melody that's assigned for next class. Specifically, the melodies for next class, are 238 through 242. Now, I will tell you after looking at these, sometimes I won't even go there, never mind. The rhythms for all of these, 238 to 242, are not difficult at all. They're really not. Most of the rhythms are just square. And you'll notice that the meter signatures for 238 through 242 all have the half note as the beat. So in fact, some of the rhythms are so plain, so I don't want to say simple, but they're just so square that most of what you do is you just sing the notes right on the beat. So if rhythm is an issue for you while you sing, these would be some good ones to volunteer for maybe next time. Otherwise, let's take a look at 238. I did mention that the meter signatures change here. Basically, we're going from meters that use the quarter note as the beat to what I call less common meters, where the quarter note is not the beat, but some other note duration serves as the beat. And I mentioned from 238 to 242 that the half note is that note duration that serves as the beat for all those. Okay, so this is not a tough question or rocket science by any means, but if we always are supposed to tap with our left hand the division of the beat, what note duration would we be tapping in 238? The quarter note, that's right. Yeah, all it is just a simple transfer of information. Okay, so we're going to sing through 238 in a second here. We'll be tapping twice, of course, for every half note. How many times will we tap for a whole note? 4 times, that's right. How many times for a dotted whole note? There are a few of those in it. 6. That's right. Yeah, all right. So this is in C major. Okay, here we go. Scale again. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And arpeggiate. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. Okay. Yeah. So I think we're all on the same page. I just don't want, someone starting this and doing something like do, re, mi, fa, sol. We don't need to do anything crazy like that. This is hand signs. So how about a tempo of, I'll give you a full measure. How about a tempo of 1, 2, ready and go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, sol, fa, mi, re, do, re, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, la, ti, do. Now, if these aren't troublesome for you, if they're not difficult, that's fine. Then maybe you don't need to practice them as much as you maybe need to do homework for other classes or do your ear training or whatever. But if tuning is tough for you, or if coordinating this kind of thing with the hand signs and the tapping, if that's tough, these are excellent melodies to start refining those skills, because there's really nothing too difficult, I would say, in the tunes themselves, pitch-wise or rhythm-wise. So take advantage of the opportunity if you're struggling with either tuning or if you're struggling with coordinating some of the tasks that we do with our hands, that kind of thing. And I don't feel the need to go through any of the others that are assigned for next class, just because they're pretty straightforward. And let's see. There's only a few more pages. The goal is to finish chapter 2 by the end of this unit. And then after we take the next test, then we'll go on to chapter 3. That's the idea. Okay. I'm good. If you guys are good, to move on to some ear training for today. In your ear training books, eventually I'd like, you can open up to page 34. It'll be a few minutes before we get there, but your training book's page 34. Every now and then I need to ask, do you still have that page, or did I collect that page already? See, sometimes I don't remember. I hope you still have page 34. Take a look on page 34, take a look at number 5. Some of the melodic dictation exercises up to the next test will be in what I call again less common meters. And if you look at number 5, what note duration serves as the beat? It's not the quarter, is it? What is it in this case? The 8th note, right? The 8th note. So again, it just takes a little transfer or shift of thinking. When we, in a few minutes, when we dictate this melody, Did they give you any of the, did they give you the first note in this one, number 4? Did they give you more than the first
Number
note?
4 or number 5?
I'm sorry, number 5.
You give us 4 notes.
Well, do they give you the first whole measure? Whoa. Okay. Well, okay, I'm not doing this one yet. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe next year I'll think about doing something else. Because one of the things I was going to ask you is what's the initial descending leap there, but you guys already have it written in. You know, technically, and again, I'm not picky about the notation of your rhythm in this class, as long as I can make sense of it. But technically, shouldn't all these be separately flagged, right? Yeah. But I think in your book, they're all being together, aren't they? Yeah. There's another reason for not doing this one. All right, so anyways, I was going to say the 8th note is the beat. So you can see that an entire measure, this consists of 4 8th notes. This is beat 1, 2, 3, and 4. And sometimes, as I've mentioned before, it can be helpful to write the beats above the measures, or write some hash marks or tick marks or something like that above or below the measures, so you can set yourself up to get the rhythm dictated pretty quickly. And then after that, you can focus more on the melody or the pitch side of things. Okay. I don't know if I asked you, what key is this in? D major, that's right. So we'll sing a scale, we'll arpeggiate the tonic chord, and then we'll dive into this one, do some practice. I always like to sing the scale or arpeggiate a tonic chord before, so you can get the feel and the sound of the key in your head. All right, here we go. Ready? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, mi, sol, do, sol, mi, do. I would imagine that if your vocal range is, for instance, bass or alto, I would imagine that the high do is kind of high for you. I know it is for me. Okay? If you're tenor or soprano, that's probably nothing. Anyways, one of the things I wanted to mention, not only are some of the modifications in this chapter going to use less common meters, like this, but if we have leaps or skips in the melody, a lot of times, or most of the time, those skips are going to be between tones of the tonic triad. Now, when I was looking at my notes preparing for this class the other day, I thought to myself, well, technically, maybe a lot of us or some of us don't know what in the world a tonic triad is, although we will really quickly. But the tonic triad is basically just 3 notes that they use that are built on the first of the tonic scale degree. And those would be the do, the mi, and the sol, like we arpeggiate. Okay? So when I'm talking about leaps between tones of the tonic triad, I'm talking about leaps between sol and mi, or between mi and do, or between sol and do, any combination of do, mi, or sol, leaping between those notes. And the more we hear that tonic triad and the more we sing and vocally arpeggiate that chord, I think the more that those sounds will become part of our mental database, so that they become familiar and we don't have to say, oh, that's a foreign sound. I have never heard that before. What on earth is that? No, we'll say, oh yeah, I've heard that many times before. I know exactly what those 2 notes are. I know how big that leap is. That sort of thing. Okay, so my goal for this one is 4 measures. I was hoping this, especially because we got the first measure, I was hoping to just play this melody 4 times. See if we can get everything we need, the rhythm and the pitches, in just 4 hearings. Okay? Let's set that as a mini goal for ourselves. One of these days I'm going to have this piano turned back around. But I think in the class that comes after us, I think they prefer to have the piano this way. so that the piano player can see the class as she's playing, but again, I just think I'm just so far removed from y'all. All right. Let me stop talking for a little bit. Here is your first pitch. That's your high do you can see that's given to you there. And as I said, I'll play this 4 times. How about a tempo like this for the first hearing? Let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your first pitch. And this will be hearing number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm reminded sometimes why I do use this melody. There are some things I like about it. It really reinforces and drives home the tone, pitch, or do. There's several opportunities for you to hear that reference pitch, that anchor pitch. Who can tell me what is the last pitch of the melody? Do, that's right. And what, before I write that in there, what rhythmic duration should I use to fill the whole measure? It's just a 1 pitch.
Half note.
A half note, that's right. 4/8 to a half note. So look, there's your last measure. We've got your first measure. You know that this is the ultimate goal. You know that this is your starting point. Obviously, there's material in the middle. But we've talked about, I know I've mentioned before that possible strategies are, sometimes if you can't get your way working from normal direction, from left to right, can you work from this way and start going back and fill it in? Okay, 2, 3, 4. I know a lot of you already know this. Some of you may be finished already. What syllable or scale degree is the highest note in the melody? Do. What note is the lowest in the entire melody? Do as well. I believe I've played it 3 times. Every now and then, since we're practicing and this isn't, like review or a test or a quiz or anything like that, every now and then I like to check to see how your memory is doing, how you're remembering the melody. What I'd like to do is, and I'm gonna conduct this. You don't have to conduct it if you don't want to, but I would like us to sing the melody all together. I'd like to sing the entire melody and just use the neutral syllable lu to see how much you can remember. I wish it was a little bit lower. We're going to all sing this on loop. Try. If you have it in front of you and it's already finished, try not to look at your paper. Let's try it this tempo. 1, 2, ready, and sing. Once those pitches are lodged in here, no one can take them from you, right? You don't need to rely on me, the crutch for the piano. You don't need to rely on me going there and playing that all the time. Okay, can we, well, yeah, I'll play it one last time since I said I was going to play it 4 times. And then we'll do some more things. By the way, D major is the famous key of. That's D major. That's neither here nor there. All right, last hearing. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. This time, I'd like to sing it one more time, but this time I'd like you to do the best you can with the appropriate solfege syllables for those notes. You can mentally attach the right solfege syllable to the right note or scale degree in your mind. I think this helps develop organized thinking. So, we're going to sing through it one more time. Use solfege syllables to the best of your ability. 1, 2, ready, and sing. you get to that point and you know that much in your mind, you basically got the whole melody. Notating it is just a formality. Right? I also noticed when I was playing through this melody that any leap, all the leaps in this melody, have do somewhere surrounding those leaps. In other words, every leap either goes to do as a goal or it comes from do as a starting point. Again, I don't know, that to me that's really helpful because do is your strongest reference pitch. It's your strongest anchor. If you lose do, you might as well just, I don't know. Okay. So, we've sung through it. We've talked about some of the leaps. We should know then that the second measure doing this? Hang on a second. I want to check my. You know what I did? I know what I did. Do you see what I did? What's wrong with my answer up here? Do I have enough measures? No. No wonder it wasn't working out for me. Okay, let's do this. What's the next pitch here? Does anyone know? It's la. That's right. And again, we probably should technically have them separately flagged, but go ahead and for this class, I'm not really picky about that. And then, okay, so we had sol here. The downward leap goes to where?
Do.
Do, that's right. And that should be your final answer. You see how the leaps, this leap right here actually comes from do and goes back to do. You see how this leap here goes to do. You see how this leap goes to do. This leap goes to do. These are things your ear can pick up on. How many of these leaps are between tones of the tonic triad? Almost all of them. Almost all of them. Do, sol, do, those are tones of the tonic triad. La to do, that's not a leap between tones of the tonic triad because la is not found in the tonic chord. But here's some more. Sol down to do, mi down to do. All those leaps are, again, between the tones, the anchor tones of the tonic chord. Something else I'd like to point out about this piece. Sometimes, if you can't get all of the details in the inner of the melody, sometimes what you can do is you can pick this out. For instance, maybe you can get a skeleton or a scaffolding by hearing the first pitch of each measure. Right? That's better than nothing. If you write down and you can hear the first pitch of each measure, that at least gives you some kind of contour. Is the melody gradually going down? What's the melody doing? That can be a helpful strategy. You know, as I may have mentioned, making estimates is better than doing nothing when it comes to melodic dictation. One of the last things I want to show you about this melody is sometimes, well, theory people in particular, they like to, if they can spot patterns or if they can spot anything interesting, or if they can analyze and find something that maybe is not so apparent on the surface of the music. One thing I thought was kind of neat was this. Compare, see all the circled notes on the board? The first note of each measure? Compare those pitches with these pitches right here. Do you see any similarity or relationship? What do you see?
They're both do, ti, la, sol, do.
That's right. Isn't the overall broad structure of this melody do, ti, la, sol, and do? And then isn't that found in kind of a mini microcosm sandwiched in the middle of the melody as well? Do, ti, la, sol. Huh. Now, do I expect you to be able to hear something like that when we're doing log dictation? No, I can't hear that, and I don't listen for that necessarily. But I think it's really interesting to see how some melodies are generated, how they're written, how they're designed. Maybe we don't think about that all that much. That's just another melody, right? Well, I don't know, I think someone maybe put a little bit of thought into this, or else this just happened to be a happy accident. I kind of find things like that interesting. Now, maybe we're gonna finish early today, but maybe I'll leave you with this question. What did you learn about melodic dictation today? Hopefully something that would help you just improve on your skills that you already have. All right? Okay, let's go ahead and stop there. Thanks, guys. All the YouTube videos. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, is there another device that we can resort to? So really, it doesn't sound, it's not an issue with like accessing line tab or the sound files. And it's not, and it's not really, but it's really the computer's problem, not really.
Yesterday we made 7. That's, I just doing it, so.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Next
You know what,
practice
let me,
is
I'm gonna
next
walk
Monday
back there,
at
I'm gonna shut it off, so it
That's
doesn't
where
keep
would I show
recording.
up?
Um,
Here?
Let's think about some strategies or solutions for that, because